Hello and welcome to yet another segment of TKA Media News. I'm Keenan. Joining me today is Stuart McKenzie too, better known as McKenzie Stewart. A lot has been happening over the course of the Trans Nation Challenge as a result of pre-season or mid-season testing coming up this week. More on the information of driver swaps. I'll hand it over to McKenzie, who's going to run you through who's gone where over the course of the week, as well as who's making changes in the current F1 season.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brett, for that. Well, obviously you'll know that Ferrari driver, Brett himself, is moving to. He's gone from. He was originally signing with Alfa Romeo, and then now due to Plev's early, we can't really say retirement from the league because he's coming back now, but so with an empty seat there at Red Bull, Brett's taken that seat in the Red Bull cars, partnering up with good friend Rabbit Donkey 96 there. But mainly currently we don't really want to talk about next season. We really want to talk about this season at the moment. Due to a fallout in the Mercedes camp, both Erlang Ding and Habs for Life have left the team, parting ways. Infinite March. Habs for Life has gone to join Infinite March at the Toro Rosso camp, where, funny enough, that they'll both be partnering there for season 2018. And obviously, and coming back to the league is Bet715 and. Who was it? Bet715 and MBets 900 Philly come back into the GP3 category as well. After their sudden exit earlier on in the season, Brett, just an interesting thought out there. What do you reckon about those two coming back after the early exit from the season? I can say.
Well, going by the basis on how they it was actually more of along the lines of one left and then the other just kind of followed suit. It wasn't really more about both of them leaving. Coming back, I think they're going to be probably a little bit more in a comfort zone with drivers that are a little bit below them in speed, but definitely we saw what we could in the commentary for GP3 that it wasn't entirely clear cut. Fluctuo's having a really good battle with Bet715 before Bet's actually ended up retiring with an unusual issue, we'll put it that way, but I think they'll do pretty well in GP3.
And then moving up to the GP2 category, I'm currently sitting fifth in the GP3 scene. CAJ97 has moved up to the GP2 category full time now to partner partner teammate for season 2018. Well, are they teammates for 2018? No, they're not.
No, because Going Z28.
Okay, well,
is Going Z28 is in F1 next season.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a bit of error on my part, but it's CAJ moving to Renault to partner Going Z28. Bit of a dark horse for the rest of the season. Would you think there, or?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they seem to get along quite a bit, probably a little too well for a lot of people's liking, but
yeah, well, obviously the rest of the rest of the viewers won't know how antic it can get. So I think
off league stuff is generally kept off league, so we don't.
Yeah. What stays at what's set off league stays off league.
Pretty much, but yeah, I think they'll do well, given the circumstances. Do I think they're going to be top 3 wise? Probably not, but I'd say they'll be definitely continuous top 10 drivers, pushing into the top 10 every time.
And then also as well, obviously, probably the biggest announcement so far, Matt Your Daddy has been removed from the league, so there is an open seat at Mercedes for the rest of the season and season 2018. Who do you reckon will be able to take that seat?
There's 2 candidates that can really make the step up at this point in time, and that is Pro Opa or New to 41 in the F2 category. Both are contracted to Force India for season 2018, which means that they are prime candidates to take the seat at Mercedes. So if I were to put it down to a number, I would say new to 41 probably with a higher consistency rate than Pro Opa, but it's early days, you never know.
So current, I think that's it for the driver movements. Also apart from Rohan Rao, but that was confirmed last week, so that's not any sort of current news. So I think that might be it for us, Brett.
Just moving now to season 2018 news. Sorry, no, not season 2018 news. News regarding the weekend it's racing. So, of course, in GP2 we had a red flag situation where, unfortunately, the race was shortened as a result of safety car glitches. Of course, you would end up taking the winning glory for that. In F1, we had quite an interesting confrontation with the two brothers, and a GP2 driver in the name Pure Axel 2121 showed some really promise in that race. In the end, Noak 3712 would claim his 5th win of the season, which also puts him in now back in the lead of the World Drivers' Championship.
But one thing you didn't add there, Brett, was the incident between Xeri and Black Mamba on the final turn.
Yeah.
In that race, where we've seen Black Mamba's car sitting in the middle of the track for about 2 or 3 laps to go.
Yeah, it was an interesting one to look at. From the looks of it, it looks like, ideally, from my personal perspective, it looks like Xeri's just come out of the corner side by side with Black Mamba, and then just got on the curve. Well, got a bit of a tank slapper, and then as a result, just lost control of his car, hit Black Mamba, and the resulting effect is that Black Mamba's out of the race. So, I mean, clearly Xeri shouldn't have been where he was at the time because he was lap traffic, but it's just an unfortunate accident that saw Black Mamba out of the race and potentially out of the race win.
For most of that race, it was definitely looked like it could have been a real tasty battle between the two brothers, and surprising, as you said, just before, the surprising name of Pure Axel 2121 being up there, like, it was. Yeah, it's obviously now showing that that the brothers aren't as unbeatable as we thought they were.
It does, but I mean, every driver has a bad track. There's no going around that. There's no such thing as someone that can master every track perfectly. Even the actual F1 drivers have their
bogey tracks.
So it's easy enough you could probably say that Hungary looked to be one of the bogey tracks for them, because you saw Noak 3712 only managing to qualify 6th next to me, so that shows that it's not all plain sailing for brothers. But I think come Belgium, I think we're all in a lot of trouble. So moving to GP3 now, we unfortunately, of course, weren't able to broadcast the video because of broadcasting issues, but Foktush taking his first win of his career and of the season, McLaren Honda's 2nd win of the season to follow up their third pole position of the season as well. So McLaren Honda becoming quite a bit of a dark horse in the GP3 category, one ahead of Infinite March, who, as you said, moved to Toro Rosso last race, and XNZ Pro staying out of trouble to claim his 2nd podium of the year. Shapes the championship quite up a bit, especially with the incident between Habs for Life and Naomi 92 at one of the title contenders. So definitely a lot that happened in GP3, and we are deeply apologetic for not being able to produce it. But of course we'll be covering everything from Belgium, which of course sits at 2 weeks. In 2 weeks' time, we are in preparations for mid-season testing, which will not be broadcast. So stay tuned for next week when we tune up the cars and tell you how mid-season testing went, and then of course we'll be proceeding into Belgium. So Brett Keenan, McKenzie Stewart giving you today's TKA Media news. Stay in tune for next week.